Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another Premier Division show. Just before I get into the fixtures I'm going to be talking about and predicting on Friday and Saturday, just a quick word on the recent charity match at Drogheda United. It was a fantastic day. It was absolutely brilliant. We made over 20,000, which is incredible. 20,000 went to two charities. One of them was this one, So Sad, and the other one was Women's Refuge Centre and Children's Refuge Centre in Drogheda. They get 10 grand each. But see this jersey here? This jersey was worn during the match, and I'm going to leave a link in the description and the comments if you'd like to buy this jersey. I think it's €30. Have a look there yourself, but I'm pretty sure it's €30, and all that money will go to So Sad. So if you like the jersey, particularly obviously if you're a Drogheda fan, it's a unique looking jersey. It's a really, really nice jersey to be fair as well. So €30 if you're interested. But on to the games. So at Turner's Cross, ninth place Cork City take on third place Bohemians, and Cork City's home form is actually quite good this season, to be fair. They've only been beaten once this season at home. Sorry, twice this season at home, rather. I forgot one of them. Apologies for that. But twice at home this season. For a team night in the league, that's not too bad. Sean Maguire now is back. He's played a couple of games. He's managed to get in the score sheet. He's obviously had a few weeks to get up to fitness as well. So that's a massive plus for Cork City. As for Bows, you could argue they mightn't have wanted the break to come, to be fair. They've been in good form overall, 10 wins and 8 defeats. I still can't get over no draws in 18 games. Incredible, isn't it? And for a few weeks I've been tipping them to draw, to say I've predicted a first draw. So I can see a situation where I predict them not to draw and they're going to draw. That could be this week, who knows? But yeah, it's a really interesting game. Like, this is at this point of the season now, like most teams, it's the halfway point. Of course, some teams have played 19 matches, like, and the European teams playing Monday as well, by the way, in case you didn't know. But this is where you really need to start kicking on now, I think, and really getting into gear at this point, to be honest. And the 2 week break does give teams an opportunity, maybe if they've one or two injuries, to maybe get a few healed. So Cork City might be a little bit stronger coming into this, as they have been for a lot of the season in regards to players' availability. Bows, one thing about Bows, they haven't suffered too much from injury problems this season, in fairness. Now, Sean Gretton's gone back soon. He does get to play in this game. I believe this is his last game for the club. But if you think about it, they have had a couple of injuries. Every team's had a couple of injuries. But like, they haven't had, it's been players that you mightn't necessarily pick in the first 11 type thing, to be honest. You haven't seen Dawson or Ross miss, many games, or players like that. Their only issue at the moment is up front, though, in terms of goals. They can score goals as a unit, but they're not getting enough from the strikers. We've talked about Mousset before, but forget about him for a minute. Colin Whelan, he's only scored 2 games this season, really, and he still doesn't feel like, I don't know, it's clicking for him, or those 2 injuries, I think, have halted him a bit. Can he get back? Maybe. You could need a full season, though, of playing, that kind of way. And at times now, and in recent weeks, have gone for James Clark up front, and Clark's a very good footballer. I've said it many times, a really good footballer. And he had a few chances recently as well, but he's not a centre forward. He does a good job for a player that isn't a centre forward, has to be said. And it can work in some instances, being that false 9 type player. If you have the likes of him and Ross Tierney interchanging, etc., that can help him work, though, to be fair. The sense is for me to go that way again in this particular game. Parsons is back as well. Whether he'll start or not, I don't know. No doubt Dale Rooney will start. He's pretty much a mainstay, isn't he? Out wide, there's no doubt about that. And right back, they've had a few players playing there. Morahan has been solid there. He's not a proper right back, but when he's played there, he's been quite solid, you'd have to say, hasn't he, as well? So be interested to see what they do there. Cork City, as I said, Maguire back. They're still missing a few though, like Dyke Steele and players like that. I won't even talk about Keating because he's out till the end of the season. He's a big loss. But Daniels has come in, done well. If they can get a bit of a partnership between Daniels and Maguire going there, it could be very difficult to beat, particularly Turner's Cross. Tough one to predict. I'm not predicting a draw, which means this will be Bowes' first draw of the season. There's no doubt about it. I'm going for Bowes just to nick this one in what's going to be a very difficult match. Cork City 1, Bohemians 2. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, the Brandywell Derry City will take on Galway United. And I suppose Derry City's good form has been halted a little bit slightly recently when they kind of got up the table. They stalled a little bit, didn't they? And they're down to 6. They're 3 points ahead of Galway United, who are in 7th place. Galway United be disappointed with that. I've mentioned before about Galway United, and mentioned again, that they haven't had too many injuries this season. And when they are missing a couple of players, it does make a massive difference. Like, I think Bobby Burns and Asue have been excellent as wing backs. And whenever any of them are missing, I believe Bobby Burns has got 4 assists this season as well. But they function so well in that team. And I really like when they have them two there, Cunningham, Slevin and Brood at centre back. I think that's a very solid 5. And Clark in goal, obviously. And I think if 1 or 2 pieces are missing out of that jigsaw, it makes a massive difference to Galway United. Keane Byrne will be going back to Bowes actually as well after this game, I believe, too. But obviously Dyer is their main man this season. He's top scorer with 9 goals, which is just incredible. And has been very good. Just generally, he's been very good. The goals do help too. And they'd probably like Patrick Hickey maybe to get in with a few more goals, to be honest. No doubt Patrick would like to get a few more goals himself. And it's interesting how to use Patrick because he's been used in so many different roles. It can be difficult as well. I think sometimes he can be used up front, in midfield, etc. So it's difficult to know what his best role is. He's so powerful though in the air. He had a few chances lately with his head. He'll be disappointed he didn't score, to be honest. But he's getting himself in those positions, and he's still a very important player, I believe, for Galway United. Midfield is probably the area where you'd say, in inverted commas, is their weakest, but they don't really play through the midfield, so it's difficult. They're powerful through the midfield. They've got good players there. You know what I mean? Hurley and obviously McCormack is there, and other players like that. Borden has been in and out of the side as well, but they don't play through midfield, so they play more direct game generally, and they try and get midfielders coming into the box. So it's a different type of game. So they don't need technical midfielders the way they play. So for what they do, they're good. It's a difficult one to judge, though. I mean, Derry City up front is an interesting one for them. I think Mullen has done the best out of the 3 this season. I say that with an asterisk because Hubin's been injured. I think even though he's got a few goals lately, I think Boyce has been just okay, to be honest with you. I still think a fit Patrick Hubin is the best striker they can have in the team if he's fit. Recently, I've said Mullen should play, but that's recently. But if Hubin is back and fit now, I still think Hubin's the best striker they can play. I mean, his record says it all. If you played 5 or 6 matches, Hubin had played them all, you'd expect him to score more goals than if Boyce played them all or if Mullen played them all, I would suggest. And he gives the options from crosses and stuff as well. I think Gavin White could be a player that maybe comes into the game. Now he's been in and out of the team. Dan Thomas has been in and out of the team. Duffy probably hasn't played brilliant in the last couple of weeks, but he's been very good outside of that. So you know what I mean. You're not really making any changes there. Holt has settled in well defensively. They've done okay as a 3 at the back too. I still don't think Can or Todd are up to the level quite. Connolly and Holt are. Don't think Can and Todd are. You can get away with them in the back 3 maybe, because you've got the other 2 there as well, and there's a bit of protection with the wing backs and stuff. But I don't think, if you're talking about like pushing on and really challenging or etc., I think that's an improvement they need to make if they're going to stick with 3 at the back still. But I think O'Reilly and Winchester have done quite well in the middle of the park for them recently. I think Winchester particularly was We know what Adam Riley's about, but I think he's settled in a bit better now as well. Enough talking, prediction time. Feeling a draw on this one. I think Derry City won, Galway United won. Let me know what you think in the comments. Next up is the Dublin Derby, not the Dublin Derby, but a Dublin Derby, the Rings End Derby. Shelbourne take on Shamrock Rovers at Tolka Park, and I'll be going to this one and vlogging this particular game. Shamrock Rovers obviously top of the league, 6 points clear of Drogheda United, the champions. Shelbourne are further 9 points off Shamrock Rovers in 5th place in the table. And the break, you feel, wouldn't help Shamrock Rovers, despite drawing 0-0 home to Galway United. They were on a good run. Galway United defended really well in that game. They were on a good run, Shamrock Rovers. But the break would have helped Shells to try and re-evaluate and restructure and get a few players back from injury. They've been missing key players. Paddy Barrett should be back fully for this game, actually. So that's a massive plus. Not just his passing range. I've said it before. I think his passing range for a defender is the best in the league. But as an organiser in that back line, I'm not sure what's going on with Temple there, but it'd be good to have him back from Michelle's point of view and just get a few players back in. The dynamic in midfield is interesting. Obviously, Kyle's played quite a few games as centre-back with players out, but you've got Kyle Lunny and you have, Kerr McEnroy there. I do think Kerr McEnroy's done well, but it's a strange one. He's done well, but sometimes when he gets forward, he leaves a lot of gaps and leaves the other midfielder isolated. Usually that's Lunny because Kyle has played centre back. So I'm not sure what their best balance midfield looks like, if I'm honest with you. Let me know what you think in the comments if you're a Shells fan, what you think about that. McEnroy has done well in a lot of ways, but he's very good at breaking up the play when he's deeper, in my opinion. It's a difficult one. Lunny can take the ball off the defenders and get them ticking a bit deep. And then we all know Kyle gives you a bit of all action as well. The feeling is that Kyle and Kerr McEnroy could potentially be a bit similar for me, but be interesting to see what Duff does there. He's been playing wing backs, etc., and 3 centre backs. I think he's been trying to shift into the Shamrock Rovers, Stephen Bradley way of playing, being honest. Apart from defenders missing, it's meant they've had more gaps. I'm not sure that's the best idea because I just think Shamrock Rovers have better players. As simple as that. They're better players than anyone in the league. And I'm not sure. I don't know. I just think for Shelbourne fans, let me know what you think in the comments if you're a Shelbourne fan. There's an element of should they get back to basics a little bit, Shelbourne, and do what they did well. And see where they go from there. I mean, as I said, do they go back to forward the back? Caffrey's been brilliant as a wing back, though. He's been outstanding and arguably their best player as a wing back. But I like Caffrey as a midfielder. Wood can be in and out. Can you have a brilliant game, then have a couple of inconsistent games? And obviously, Meepo hasn't been doing it up front. They'd be hoping Boyd is back and available. But John Martin's recent hat-trick means that surely he has to start too. It's an interesting one. A lot of interesting stuff going on there with Shelbourne. Let me know if you're a Shelbourne fan what you think about any of those in the comments. As for Shamrock Rovers, looking very solid at the moment. Mandrew's back now too. No one really, even Trevor Clark appeared on the bench, I think, in the last game, or maybe the game before, both. But he's definitely back. Josh Honahan just in the Irish squad as well, and that type of thing. It's a lot of... There's so many good players available. Jack Byrne back playing well. Matt Healy's been a very good sign. He's done well. Good options up front. The new boy from Dungannon, they've signed just in now as well. And, Michael Noonan's well capable of stretching defences. You've got the experience of the likes of Aaron Green, etc., etc. And Graham Burke's played some beautiful football this season, hasn't he? He's been brilliant at times. And, when he's in full flight, Graham Burke, he's a level above. So, 2 weeks ago, I would have definitely said Shamrock Rovers win the game, but your momentum stalled a bit with the break. And as I said, the break might help Shells. It's an interesting one. If Shells have any chance of winning the league, though, by the way, they probably have to win this game. I don't think they're winning the league. But I just wonder if Duff is playing that into the players a little bit, or does he sense it's going to be very difficult? Um, they probably do have to win this game, don't they? Can Rovers keep the momentum up that's been there in the last few weeks? If no one really key missing, which is a huge thing, I'll go for Shamrock Rovers to nick it, but I, I could easily see a draw on this, to be honest. But I'm going to go for Shamrock Rovers. I'll go for Shelbourne 1, Shamrock Rovers 2. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, also on Friday night, one game on Saturday, we'll get to that in a minute. And that's St. Patrick's Day to take on Drogheda United. And boy, did these teams like 0-0 draws recently. Just looking at it very quickly there. So let me see here. In the last 5 games, these two have 6 games. These two played against each other. 4 of the games have been 0-0. 4 of the games have been 0-0. Only one in Inchicore though. 3 of them were in Drogheda. So they like a 0-0. So if you're a betting person, you know what to do. I talked about how the break came at the right time for Shells and maybe not for Shamrock Rovers, potentially with injuries and other pieces like that. Pats are in the same boat as Shells in that way. They'll be hoping that Chris Forrester's fit and raring to go for this game. They brought him back early against Waterford and took him off after 55 minutes. Then he didn't feature in the next game. So they'll be hoping he's back and fit. I know Roman Palmer will not be back. Melia should be back. Keena with an extra couple of weeks training. Hopefully, he's getting up to speed now as well after being out injured. So Pats should be, unless something happens that I haven't heard of, should be in a cleaner bill of health, being honest, too, coming into this game. And they probably need to kick on. As for Drogheda, I know Alicia Hui is suspended for this particular match. So no doubt Andrew Quinn will come in there and slot in comfortably, to be fair. Dougie scored a penalty recently, so they'll be hoping that kicks him on a little bit. Josh Thomas has been out a good while with a muscle injury, and there's no news there really in that regard. But Drogheda will be hoping that can they maintain the form now in the second half of the season that they showed in the first half of the season, basically. So they'll want to start this term, if you like, or this second, I suppose you could call it term, very well. And I think one of the things Drogheda know when they come up against Pats is that, and Pats should know this as well, is that Drogheda are going to work their socks off and they're going to make it very difficult for Pats. They believe, I think, they can out-battle Pats, and a lot of teams believe that, I think. Pats do have ability. There's no doubt about it. They've only shown it in flashes this season. But I keep saying it, as a unit, now this doesn't go for every player, but as a unit, the work rate and design has to be better from Pats. If it's not, they haven't a chance of beating Drogheda on Friday. It's as simple as that. If it is, they have the players to go and win the game on Friday, basically. They know what Drogheda are going to bring. They know it's going to be difficult. They know Drogheda will be physical in their faces and will offer a serious threat going forward with the likes of Warren Davis. Markey busy as a bee in the middle of the park. He literally is a bee, the way he buzzes around the place. And they're going to be difficult to beat. I have a funny feeling Pats are going to go Melia and Keane up front against the back three of Drogheda, which would be interesting. Who to go for wide? Tough to know. Mulroney hasn't done it for me this season. El Bazzetti hasn't played as well, but his work rate has been good, I have to say. So they could go with him out on the right and Levy left, or if they go one up front, they'd probably go Levy's the 10. There will be, I think, a key factor of the game is Forrester, though. Is Forrester going to be fit? And I mean, like fit, like match fit, he can play. Not, he's not injured, but he's not really fit enough yet. So that's going to be key. He is key to Pats. Because Drogheda will make it very difficult. And in the middle of the park as well, they've got players that just work their socks off, be it Farrell, mentioned before with Markey, who plays slightly ahead, Ryan Brennan, and Heaney. They all work extremely hard for Drogheda United. And the threats going forward, Pats are going to have to be very careful with the threats of Drogheda United going forward too. Prediction. I think Pats will win the game. Actually, I think they'll know that they'll have to kick on a little bit in the second half of the season now. Forrester is key, but I suspect he'll play and be fit. I'll go for Pats to win it. I will. As usual, be a difficult game. Drogheda could easily get something out of this game though as well. If Pats aren't on it, they're going to be in trouble. But just have a feeling they're going to be on it Friday. I'll go for Pats to win this one by 2-1. Let me know what you think in the comments. On to Saturday. Probably a month, maybe 6 weeks ago. More so to the point, maybe about 6 weeks ago. This would have been viewed as a bit of a relegation 6-pointer. Waterford FC are in 8th position in the league. Sligo Rovers are bottom, but there's 11 points between both sides. And the feeling for me is even if Sligo were to win this and put 8 between them, I don't think Waterford are in threat. I think something has happened since Keith Long's left. I do think Keith Long's a good manager, but something went wrong there. They seem to be galvanised even before Coleman came in. They've played some good football in recent weeks. Apart from the matches they've won, some of the matches they haven't won, they've played quite well. And they should have beaten Pats. They should have beaten Drogheda. And the 3-1 defeat against Shamrock Rovers flattered Shamrock Rovers. So they can take positives out of them. Up to that point, they'd won a number of games in a row. Lonergan and Ammond are becoming a good partnership now. We know what Ammond gives you, etc., etc. But Lonergan has worked very hard for them recently and chipped in with goals. Olinku has done very well in the middle of the park for Waterford. McDonald is back as well, which is important too. Backline's a bit iffy still, particularly without Andy Boyle and that. Their backline is a bit iffy, it has to be said. That's probably what's cost them actually in the Pats game and in the Drogheda United game. That's a problem for them. Bart obviously is out too, so yeah, the balance mix isn't right. They've had to play McDonald there too, in the centre back position, or in the back line in particular. Isn't that right? And that's a problem for them going to Sligo at the showgrounds, because Sligo Rovers, although they can be porous at the back in a similar fashion, a couple of young players in there as well. They've done quite well, but it's difficult when you've got two young players like Reynolds and McElroy in there, and you know, it's difficult. They probably haven't really settled on a keeper. I know Sargent's played recently, but he's been okay. But they had an amazing game, didn't they, in the first day of the season where Waterford won 3-2, the Blues won 3-2. I can see something similar in terms of goals in the game, to be fair. I'd argue Waterford are better up front on the whole. Sligo Rovers have got Owen Elding and they've got Fitzgerald, who's creative. He won't score a lot of goals, but he's creative. The midfield battle, as usual, will be key. Jack Doyle-Hayes, Conor Malley if he plays, etc. McDonald be brought back into the middle of the park. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw at the showground. Sligo Rovers 2, Waterford FC 2. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have a good weekend, whatever game you're going to. Bye-bye.